Hey guys, it's Jen, and it is New Year's Eve, 2014, so it's almost 2015, and I have issued a little challenge over on the Nicole Jones Facebook group, and Victoria Marie has said that she was going to share it on her Facebook group as well, to do, like, it's a little recipe challenge, and so, this is the recipe. I just kind of wrote it down really quick. But the challenge is to use 3 pattern papers, 2 cardstocks, 1 washi tape or other trim, 1 Flair Badge, 2 die cuts, a dash of metallic, and sprinkles, which I just mean like splatters or whatever. And so you can use any of those, and even if it's after New Year's, feel free to participate. But sometimes these kind of challenges just kind of get you out of your box and get you thinking creatively, and so every once in a while I do like to do these, but you have to use at least as many as listed, but you can add more if you want to. And so let me just share with you what I'm going to be using. So first of all, I'm scrapbooking these 2 photos. One is of me and Stacy Julian, and the other one is of me and Amy Tan, and it's from a Creative Live, Inspiration Live. It was on Big Picture Classes a few months back. I think it was maybe November 1st actually. An Inspiration Live class that I went to, and so I got to meet those guys. I've actually met Amy Tan once before. She's super sweet, and Stacy's really awesome too. And I actually met Kelly Perky too, but I didn't have a chance to get a photo with her. So these are the 2 that I have, and I'm using my December Scraptastic kit. I think it's called Heartbeats, maybe. I'm using that kit as well as, well, let me just share the different things with you. So the first thing was 3 pattern papers. So these are the 3 I think I'm going to use. This Amy Tan Floral, which is, I'm obsessed with. This actually didn't come in the kit. I think it might have come in the add-on, or actually maybe it's coming in next month's kit, but it matched a lot of the papers in this month's kit, so I ordered it anyway. So I ordered it from Scraptastic, the shop, but it didn't come in the kit. Anyway, I'm going to use those 2 papers, and then for my background I'm going to use this Kaiser Craft paper. It's different kinds of wood grain on one side, and then this is like a particle board on this side, so I'm going to use that for my background, I think. So those are my 3 pattern papers, and then for my 2 cardstocks, I'm using just the white cardstock that came in the kit, and then also this like light teal colored cardstock, and this is doing double duty as it's going to count for one of my die cuts as well. So 2 cardstocks was the next thing. Then the next thing was a washi tape or other trim. So this is going to be my trim, my gold washi. That's like gold sparkly, and this is actually from my December Felicity Jane kit. And 2 die cuts. So like I said, this is going to do double duty, so that's a die cut. And then also this one, I will probably pull in some of the stuff from the Amy Tangerine die cut package as well, but we'll see. And that just says wonderful. And then a dash of metallic, so this might be my dash of metallic, and then sprinkles. So I'll decide what color I want to do when I'm done with the layout. It may end up being black, it may end up being Heidi Swap Gold Color Shine, so that'll be another metallic. Oh, and I also said to use a Flair Badge, so I'm going to use this one that says These Days. And so those are the things I'm going to be using for this challenge, and now I'm going to go ahead and put you on fast forward and get to the layout. So thanks for joining me.
Okay, so here I am putting that, so that die cut that I'm using is a Scraptastic exclusive like cut file, and it's for the Heartbeats kit for this month, December, and I just cut it out of that teal cardstock on my silhouette, and I'm just going to mount some white cardstock behind it, and I'm using some 1/8 inch score tape just around the edges of that intricate centerpiece to adhere the white cardstock to the back. And I don't want to adhere the center, and you'll see why in a second, but I'm going to kind of tuck some things into the like the cuts of that paper. So I'm using this cork background, or I guess it's not cork, particle board or whatever. And as I was laying my photos down on this paper, I saw that I could kind of tuck them into that die cut, and it kind of reminded me of one of those. Are they called like a French photo? I don't know what it's called. Like the little photo boards where it has the crisscross ribbons and then you can tuck stuff into it. It kind of reminded me of that. So I'm going to tuck my photos into it, and there's only two spots where it really opens up. The rest of it's closed, and so I'm tucking them into the center just based on where the die cut opens up. And now I'm looking through the Amy Tangerine stitched die cuts. I thought that I was glad that this collection was so prominent. This Amy Tangerine stitched collection was so prominent in the December kit, and it was perfect for this photo of me with Amy Tan. So I pulled out the two die cuts. One says hello and one says lucky. And then I used some of that gold washi tape, the glitter tape, and I ripped it in half. And I kind of taped those, kind of still trying to mimic a little cork board or something where you would just like kind of pin up your memorabilia. And so I really liked the way that those looked, just kind of tucked on there. So I'm going to do some fussy cutting of these flowers from that Amy Tan paper, and I cut that part out so you didn't have to watch me. And you can say I only cut a little bit of that paper up, but I got a lot of flowers from it. So I'm trying to decide if my photos need some sort of backing on them, but nothing was quite working, so I decided against it. I do need to find a way to get another pattern paper on here. I need to use 3 pattern papers, so I've got one for my background, and that's it. That's all I have right now. I will be adding those flowers, and they're from a pattern paper, so that's my second addition, and then this paper will be my third. And I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to use the gray star side or the other side that's kind of it looks like the liners on the security envelopes. It's like a teal on like a grayish white. And I decided to use the green side. It just looked better. And I'm going to just I used my notebook edge punch from Fiskars, and I'm just going to put that to the side of this die cut piece. And I like the way that looks. And then I go ahead and fluff those up so it kind of looks like I ripped it out of a notebook. And I have to apologize because I set this video at 4 times speed, which is really the highest I like to go, and it's still about 25 minutes. So I apologize for that, but this was such a fun layout to create. So now I'm going to play around with the flowers, and what I like to do is I want some things tucked under and then some popped up on top. So I'm just playing around with how I can place those so it looks kind of natural, and some are tucked beneath others. And I want to make sure that they those flowers touch some elements on the main part of my page, which is the cluster with the photos and those words. So I'm just making sure that they touch some of those areas. And then I pulled out these days Flair, but then I decided I didn't know if that was what I wanted. It had more words on it, and I didn't know that I wanted more words. And I was kind of thinking that right there where I have that You and Me Flair, that's from an old Scraptastic kit, I thought that was a good place to have the Flair, but in between the other words, I just didn't want more words. So I go through all of my Flair, and then I go back to my Heartbeats December kit from Scraptastic and pull out that black one. And I like the way that looks, but I know that I'm going to have to pull in a little bit more black elsewhere. So I just keep that in mind. I tried really hard to use this clothespin die cut, and it just doesn't end up making it. I'll bring it back in a little while and try it again, but it doesn't make it. So now I'm going through some of the exclusive print and cut files from Scraptastic, and I pulled out this little label that has an ampersand in the middle, and I thought it was perfect because then I could write Amy and Stacy, because those are the two that are in the photos with me. And it's actually navy blue, and there's no other navy blue on the page, but it kind of plays off the dark green on the leaves from the flowers of that Amy Tan paper, and so it doesn't bother me, and I just don't worry about it. I'm just kind of gluing. I only had those tucked in and taped on. I didn't have any adhesive underneath my photos or those die cuts, and so I'm just kind of lifting them up and putting some adhesive down, but I don't want to completely move everything off because I liked the placement. So I'm gluing that main part down to the background, and then I'm going to work on getting my flowers adhered. And when I die cut flowers a lot. If you watched my recent album share, my 2014 album share, it's just my latest video, the one right before this. I have a lot of layouts where I've cut out flowers, and every time I do this, I kind of layer them in a similar way, like I said, with some in the back and some on top, and some are popped up. And often I'll pop up the edges of the flowers that are underneath as well. So you'll see me putting some of those thin foam squares onto the backs of just, see, I'm doing it right now, of just little portions of the flower, and then I'll adhere the rest of it down so it kind of lifts up in certain areas, if that makes sense. And I really like the way that looks. Just needed to straighten my page out. I often get things crooked. So I think as of right now, I have everything on my page that was in the requirements for what I said the recipe was, except for that, except for the Flair Badge, which I haven't adhered yet, and then sprinkles, which I actually forget to add until after I took the photos for the video, and so you won't see it, but I do at the end add some Heidi Swap Gold Color Shine. And I'll explain that at the end. So here I'm just tucking some more of the leaves. I want kind of a natural feel to the flowers, like I want them to be kind of flowy and look like they're just kind of falling out from where they are, if that makes any sense at all. And then I'm trying to decide if I'm going to put my journaling below that lucky, or I haven't decided quite where I'm going to put my journaling yet. So I decided that I thought maybe the hello and the lucky would be kind of my title, but that upper area was so blank, it needed something. So I went to my thickers and I found these old Amy Tangerine thickers. I think this is the Cal Barteschi font. And these just weren't, it didn't match the feel of the rest of the layout. I did want to bring some black in because of that black flare, but it just wasn't working. So I pulled out these pebbles. They're from the Jen Hadfield collection. These wide gold stickers. And I was going to spell out the word wow. And they're really cute, but it wasn't working for me either. Sorry, I had a little tickle in my throat. I'm feeling much better, but I still have a little bit of a cough. So then I was thinking maybe what I need to do is put the title on a white piece of cardstock because it just wasn't working, and then I thought maybe I can make it look like that Hello and Lucky die cut. And
so the video cut out for a second. So all I had done was I decided to watercolor a piece of, this is Canson watercolor paper, and I just used Distress ink in worn lipstick mixed with, it was mostly tattered rose mixed with a tiny bit of worn lipstick. So it kind of matches this. And then I'm using these Amy Tangerine thickers, and I'm going to color them black. And then I'll stick that on top of there for my title. So I was having a hard time figuring out how to get the title not to disappear or to be too busy on this background. And so I'm going to color it and then see if I still need this watercolored piece. I think it turned out pretty, so I probably will use it, but we'll see. Anyway, back on fast forward.
Okay, so here's my title all colored, and I'm just kind of showing you how it looks. You can kind of see the pattern peeking through a little bit. So now I'm cutting down that watercolor paper to make it fit. And the watercolor paper is a little bit creamier, which is okay because those flowers have a creamy color to them. They're a little bit more creamy than that white cardstock. So I'm okay with it being a little bit different. And here I'm trying to decide whether I want to outline this piece. I'm trying to kind of mimic that Lucky die cut with the letters are kind of watercolory looking, and it has a black outline. So I'm trying to kind of mimic that look for my title, and that amazing just was not working for me. I didn't like how dark it was. But I go ahead and adhere the banner there, and I'm going to tape it down so it kind of mimics those other two like I had planned, the hello and the lucky die cuts. And I placed the amazing on, and like I said, for some reason it just wasn't working for me. So I remembered that I had these outline their old Studio Calico, I think it's the Stepping Stone font, and it kind of reminded me of that Lucky die cut, and so I'm going to try and see if this is going to work for me. And I'm pretty sure that I like that look, and so I'm going to go ahead and stamp out the words "So Amazing" onto my watercolored piece. I really love the way that watercolor looks. It's kind of effortless and it just looks really pretty. I tried to watercolor on the white cardstock, but it looked horrible, so I went and got my watercolor paper, and it's so much better. It's such a big difference. Sorry for my head. I had to lean over so I could line things up correctly. So I just stamped out the word "so amazing," and then I'm going to clean up a little bit, putting those gold stickers back because I'm not going to use them, and getting some stuff out of the way. I'm such a messy scrapbooker. Ugh, I'm sure a lot of you can relate. Creative minds cannot be held back by cleaning up. Anyway, I just hand wrote the words "this was" in kind of a loose script, and then I decided to grab this, it's like a, what is it called? Film strip that was on the branding strip from the bottom of my background paper, and I'm going to tuck it in a few different places on the layout. And I thought it was kind of fitting because this was a workshop that we went to, and they filmed it and then they showed it on their event later. And so it was kind of fitting that there was a film strip. So I'm going to adhere. I was finding that watercolor paper wasn't sticking down well with my regular adhesive, so I just got some thick score tape and glued that down. And I'm using my Scotch Quick Dry adhesive, and I squeezed out way too much. It was out of control. I wasn't paying attention at all, and I was just squeezing the bottle hard because it wasn't coming out. That was real smart, Jen. Anyway, whatever. I made it work, and it didn't ooze out too much because I was able to save it. But now I'm just checking out these puffy stickers. I think they're LA Studio. Anyway, I tried them out several times, and none of them end up making it on the layout, but that's okay. And I'm looking again through the Amy Tangerine die cuts. I feel like there's something missing next to the title. I maybe should have made my banner a little bit shorter, but I didn't. And I'm looking through some of those clear stickers to see if I want to add any of those, but I don't. And then I thought maybe what I need up by my title is a few more flowers. And so I'm going to go back to that floral paper and cut out a few more. And I kind of play with a few different ways to add these. And I could have cut this out, but I wanted to show you what worked for me and what didn't and why. So first I cut out this little cluster of two flowers, and they're mostly pink. And it was kind of pink on pink, and so I was thinking that's too much pink. So I found another cluster just like it that had a little bit of yellow on one of the flowers, and so I cut that one out. And I I thought then I can bring up the little bit of yellow that's on the petals from the other flowers up to this area. And that was better, but it just wasn't working in that space. And I couldn't figure out a way for it to look nice there. And it might have just been that particular flower. Again, I was trying to fill that space, and this wasn't the right thing for it. So then I thought maybe they need to go off to the side. And I kind of liked the way that looked, but then as I stuck them there, I thought I definitely need something more substantial. So I cut out this flower that was on the edge of the paper, and flowers from the edge of the paper work perfectly for tucking under things because you don't need to see the whole flower anyway. And so I end up tucking one of the flowers that I cut out previously, the cluster of two, plus that bigger flower. And like I said before, I like to have them layered over the top of each other and pop some of them up and stuff like that. So, and I end up adding the other flower to the bottom cluster because I want it to have a little bit more weight. It's at the bottom, and so I just felt like I wanted to add it there. Then I slowed the video down here so you could see that I stitched along the side of that banner, and then I also typed up all my journaling. And I'm just going to tape the ends of the thread on the back of my layout. And I'm going to cut my journaling into skinny little strips. And the journaling just says, tonight I got to mingle with a few of the people that I truly look up to in the scrapbooking industry. Stacy Julian and Amy Tan and Kelly Perky. No pick with her. They are genuinely kind and are greatly contributing to a hobby passion that I believe is important. And that's really true. I admire these women, and you know, the industry needs people like that who are interested in memory keeping and keeping this this hobby and this industry alive. So I'm appreciative to the efforts that they make for this community. So now I'm trying to decide how I want to place my journaling, and I end up tucking the ends of a few of them under the flowers. That just kind of helps it tie in with the so that all the elements tie in together. And I also I couldn't move the top that tonight I got to mingle with, that top journaling strip. I couldn't move it up too far because I didn't want to cover up that film strip, and so it created a little bit of an awkward space. But since I tied it to, since I slipped it underneath those leaves, it ends up working out. So before I end up adhering them down there, I tried it out at the side, and it was just too much. I felt like I needed that breathing room, and since the center was already busy because of the die cut, I decided to just go ahead and place it where I originally intended. So now I'm just gluing them down, and I cut some of the strips up, and I'm just gluing them next to each other, and I'm not getting too fussed about whether they line up exactly or anything. And so you'll see in the still shots that they don't exactly line up, but your eye just kind of glazes over that unless you're looking closely, and I don't really care. So when I place my journaling strips, I try not to do it in a straight line. I try to vary where they start and end, so it just is a little bit more interesting. And I'm trying to decide if I need to add even more. And so I'm going through these clear stickers again to see what I can add or what I need to add. And then I go through the puffy stickers again. And none of them end up making it on the layout. I do end up going through the die cuts, and I find one thing that I end up using. And there are a few things that matched, but ultimately I end up going with those scissors because I just thought, when am I ever going to use these again? This was a scrapbooking workshop. The scissors make sense. I probably won't use them for anything else. So this was the perfect place to use them. So I thought they looked fine on the top there. Then I just stamped the date, September 23rd, 2014 with my Heidi Swap roller date stamp, and that completes the layout. So thank you so much for watching, and here are some of the detail shots. Again, like I said, I forgot to add the sprinkles until after I took the photos. So what I did was I sprinkled some Heidi Swap Gold Color Shine just in the areas around where the flowers are, in those 3 spots. So thanks so much for watching. If you'd like to play along, or if you did play along, if you want to leave a comment with a link to your project, if you post it somewhere, that would be awesome. And thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.